Good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming. Please help yourselves to breakfast. Breakfast is sponsored this morning by Moshe and Esther Zagi for Shlem with Moshe's father, Usher. But Michelle, you can join yourself to Middle Eastern delicacies. You can have it over there, including Mabuka and Baba Gagnosh, so please help yourself. Also, everybody's invited to stay for an exciting Chabura this morning by Dr. Moshe Yeager. It's called The Hardening of Pharaoh's Heart, How Free is Free Will. And also, we have an enhanced breakfast, as I mentioned, sponsored by the Zagi family. And breakfast also is sponsored all this week by Lisa Goodman and Ellen Schiff Mayer for the Elias Neshama of Ruth Mushkin, Rachel Golda Bas Elias Yehuda, whose birthday is on the 27th day of Tevis. Interesting, we know that God told Abraham that the Jews are going to be enslaved for 400 years. So the question is, if they're supposed to be enslaved, the Mitzrayim, why are they punished? Why are the Egyptians punished for doing God's will? God said they should be. I don't want to steal your thunder, Dr. Yeager.
No, you're not.
But
it's a lot of thunder out there.
They're supposed to be enslaved for 400 years. So the Egyptians, why are they punished? They're doing God's will. So the Rambam says that's true that Jews are supposed to be enslaved. Who says each individual Egyptian has to do it? In other words, there's a decree against the Jews, but who says you, the Egyptian, have to be doing this particular so-called mitzvah to oppress the Jews? And I'm reminded when you had the Nazis march in Skokie, you always have a great Jewish defense lawyer. What did they say? Why are we defending somebody who's abhorrent, who hates Jews? Is because they're entitled to good defense. And the question I always raise, who said you have to be the lawyer to give that defense? I'll have another way to do that defense. Here, it's the same thing. God's saying, according to the Rambam, is that, hey, who says you have to be the one to do this particular thing to oppress you? Let somebody else do it. However, the Ramban disagrees, and he says it's a mitzvah for every individual Egyptian to oppress the Jews. It's a mitzvah. God says to oppress the Jews. So then why are the Egyptians punished? If it's a mitzvah, they should be rewarded for it. So according to the Ramban, the decree was only to enslave and oppress, not to kill, murder, brutalize the Jewish people the way they did it. So therefore, that's why they're punished. And in fact, the Ber Yosef uses this approach of the Ramban to explain something very puzzling. Look at what happened. The first time that Moshe and Aaron go to Pharaoh, what does Aaron do? He throws a stick to the ground, and it turns into a snake, and Pharaoh laughs. Even every small kid, it's like Harry Potter, where every small kid knows magic, they can turn also a staff into a snake. So why is God going through this whole situation where you have this simple magic trick which everybody can do? However, there's a message here. What Aaron is saying to the Egyptians, and he's saying to Pharaoh, is that if you like a staff is an animate object. It only can hit as far as the master wants you to hit. If you be like a staff in the hand of God and punishing the Jewish people, but it will be one thing. But since they use the staff with brute force, that's why they're being punished. And that's the significance of showing showing this magic trick of the stick turning to a snake to symbolize that the staff had been used like the hand of God. It was one thing. Since the Egyptians overused their power, that's why the Egyptians are being punished. Have a wonderful day.